The first time I met him was on a round, because the Jessup Hospital for Women was just down the road from the Children's Hospital. We used to go down to the Jessup Hospital and look at the babies. I loved that bit.
I was taught by the pioneers of modern medicine in Sheffield between 1956 and 61, 8 years after the inception of the NHS. Prof. Ronald Illingworth was one of them. He was a paediatrician in Sheffield Children's Hospital.
And my children say I have honours for creeping, but I bought the book and I stuck the certificate in, but I took it to him and asked him if he would sign. There he signed it for me, and it was at that point that he said, would I like to go into the house, would I like to be his houseman, which was the hugest, most unbelievable honour.
His book, The Normal Child, taught us the development of the child, without which you as a doctor cannot make an accurate diagnosis of illness in a child and so be able to treat the child.
How are you going to know if a child is ill if you don't know what the child should be like? Normally, he was also one who had the different stages, what a child should be able to do, pull itself up and start walking, all these different things. And it was the days of the thalidomide babies. You know, we had a lot of fairly rare things, hydrocephalic children, children with spina bifida.
I think the most important chapter is the normal development, where it tells you how a child starts development, the stages, and what the order of which the child learns things in and why it is important, versus if this does not happen, what you should be looking for is something very, very, you can't forget all your life.
He could be quite severe and occasionally would reduce parents to tears. They would say whatever was the matter, what was worrying them, and then he'd say, well, of course, you're killing this child.
The way medicine was taught in those days was extremely strict by our teachers, because they knew that if we made a mistake, we could easily kill the patient. When I actually worked as a registrar in the Children's Hospital, when I was a registrar with Professor Zachary, who was a surgeon there, and Professor Illingworth was the paediatrician. They worked very closely together, and they discovered the way to talk to children, which is extremely important, because you cannot examine a child that's screaming and wanting to run away and get off the couch.
Just imagine, you're feeling awful. You're dumped into this strange place with people wearing funny clothes, and your parents are dismissed. He was the first one to introduce freedom in the children's wards at the hospital. Before that, for the big round, each child would be sitting up in bed, all brushed and clean, and the covers all geometrically straight. And he said, no, this isn't normal. This isn't the normal way a child is untidy and they're on the floor and scattering things about. And one of the other very progressive things that he did was introduced parents being with the child and beds being provided for a very sick child or children out of the district.
When I actually told people that, I work at Sheffield and this is where Dr. Illingworth was, and the book belongs to her. Everyone was so excited. Starting from my senior colleagues to my peers, everyone said how much they enjoyed loving the book and how important it is to learn what a normal child is, especially in your day-to-day practice when you're a general pediatrician.